Hello, I'm going to make a video here about how to get the standing treble or double crochet in American terms, so you don't have to chain up to get your height. When you reverse your work and you're going back the other way, the usual is to chain 2 or 3 to get your height of your stitch. That looks different to the rest of the stitches and does sometimes leave a gap. Now, I've seen videos where people pull up the height and then hold that and then wrap, and I have to hold and juggle to keep the 2 loops there. My hands hurt too much to do that, so I pull up to the height, twist around and go into the base, hook it through the base, hook it again through that 1 and then untwist around the back. Then I hook it through the 2 at the top, and that gives me my standing treble or double crochet. I've only got a little row here of 6, and then I'll show you again. Now the stitch where you hook it through the base, you hook it again through 2, and you hook it again through 2. In Australia that's called a treble, in America it's a double crochet. When you get to the other end, go through the top of the standing one that you did on the previous row, and you've got your 6 again. So reverse your work, turn it round, pull up to the height. Try not to go too high, you want to keep it about the same height. Twist around to the back so that loop is now twisted on your hook. Go into the base, hook it through. Hook the thread again through that 1 and around the back. Hook it again through the 2. And you've got your standing stitch. When I go from one side to the other through the tops of these stitches, I go underneath that diagonal thread as well. That keeps your stitches locked on top of each other. If you just go through the loop there, they tend to move. Your stitch moves sideways a bit and it looks like it's coming from between each other. It doesn't really matter most of the time, except if you're doing a pattern that you have to have those stitches exactly on top of each other. Go into the standing stitch at the beginning of the row. See how they sit directly on top of each other. And that stitch at the beginning looks much better than chains up for the height. So reverse your work, pull the loop up to the height of your stitches. A little bit less is better. And twist it around. Go into the base, hook it through the base. You've now got 1 ordinary loop and 1 twisted loop. So you hook it through the ordinary loop and just go round the back to untwist. And you hook it through the 2 that you got left, and there's your standing stitch. So work that row. Whoops. Very awkward working on the other side of the camera. It does involve a bit of stooping with your back, so bear with me while I get to the other end. Now this is the standing stitch from the previous row. You've got to go into the top of that. If you turn it over, you can sometimes see that there's 2 V-stitch on that side. I usually try and get into that. And that gives you a nice looking stitch. There you go. And you don't have your chains at the beginning of the rows, so they look identical. This one here, I pulled it up a bit high, so it's got a little bit of a gap. So when you're pulling up your height, try and go too high. You don't want it too high, or it does give you that little gap there. It's also easier to get into at the end of the row, so it's a juggling match. So pull up to your height, twist it around, go into the base, hook it through the base, hook it again through that loop. Don't go through the twisted loop, go around the back of it. So you're basically undoing your twist, and hook it again through the 2 loops at the top. Okay, I hope that helps neaten up all your edges. Just like to give a quick addition to my video on how to do, instead of the treble, a double treble, or instead of the double crochet, a treble. So you pull up a little bit higher than for the first stitch, and you twist it once, same as wrapping, twist it twice, go into the base, hook it through the base, hook it through that loop and back around. That's undone one of the twists. Hook it through that loop and back around again. That undoes the second one, and then you hook it through the two. It gives you a much taller stitch, one where you wrap it twice and then go through the base. In Australia that's called a double treble, in America it's called a treble. So the one you double wrap, go through the base, hook it through that, hook it through two, hook it through two, hook it through two. So you can do a standing stitch for this one too. Oops, I didn't double wrap that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 movements. 1, 2, 3, 4. And through the standing stitch at the beginning of the previous row. So there you have the standing double. So you reverse your work, pull up your height. Remember, it's a bit taller than the first one I showed you. And you wrap once, you twist once, twist twice. Same as wrapping. You do that same number of twists. Hook it through the base. Hook it through that loop and undo one of the twists around the back. Hook it through that loop and undo the second twist around the back. And hook it through the two left. Double wrap and work up. That gives you the height of the extra tall stitch. So down here you've only just, it's a one wrap stitch, so you will do one twist. Up here it's a double wrap stitch, so you do a double twist. Hope that helps. Bye. If you're changing colours at the end of the row, stop when you've got 2 loops left on the hook and finish that stitch with the new colour. So you've got the new colour loop ready to go. Reverse your work, pull that new loop up to height. I'm just going to do the one wrap. So twist through the base, through that loop and a rack around the back, and then through the 2 loops. And then you're going on with your stitch. It gives you a very sharp, clean colour change and no chaining up for the height. When you're sewing your threads away, you'll just give them a pull down. Gives you a nice clean colour change then, and no chaining ugly gaps. Very easy to do.